Hello crafty friends, it's Donna here, and I have a one-layer Slimline card to share with you today. I'm sitting amongst the suitcases recording this video, as we're flying out to Australia tomorrow. The feature image for today's card is called Slimline Protea Bouquet from Paper Rose Studio. It's a tall thin stamp which works perfectly for Slimline cards, but I could see myself also using it on a regular card and having some of the image hang off the edge. I'm prepping my stamp with an eraser. I just rub lightly over the whole stamp and then give it a wipe with a microfiber cloth just in case I've left any little bits of eraser behind. I want to use both dye inks, which are water-based, and Copic markers, which are alcohol-based for this card. And my two regular inks that I use are both perfect for either one or the other, but not both. And so I'm trying a new ink, which is Pink & Main Premium Dye Ink. The instructions say, as long as it's perfectly dry, that it will work for both, and so I'm going to test that out today. There are a few different inks on the market that are like this. This is the one that I have. I'm first going to ink blend a soft background. I have one brush per colour family, and I just clean off my brushes before I start, and they're good to go. I want the background to be quite soft, so I'm going to tap off the initial ink onto a piece of scrap paper before I do the blending onto my card, and I'm going to use that scrap paper later to test my colours. Hold on a second to see what really happens in my craft room. Keep an eye on the dried Marigold ink at the top. The footage that you're seeing right now has been sped up to double speed. I don't really blend this fast, and the colours that I'm using across the image from the bottom are abandoned coral, dried marigold, and then I'm going to bring in some bundled sage and speckled egg. Once all the ink blending's done, I'm going to add some Copic details. And I'm trying out a few different colours to see what they look like over the top of the ink blending. And that's where that little scrap of paper is going to come in handy. I've grabbed a small handful of different colours to see which ones will work best on top of the ink blending. I've started out here with Y12. I'm flicking fast and moving around a lot so that the ink doesn't sink into the paper too much. And you can see that the inside of the card is still clean. This card base is a Slimline card base. They come with envelopes from Paper Rose Studio, and it's sturdy enough to handle the Copics as long as I keep moving. But if the ink did go through, I could always cut off the front panel and add it to another card. The other colours of marker that I ended up using were R32 and R30 on the pink areas. Also G43 and G46 for the greens, and B21 for one of the flowers at the top. The sentiment that I'm going to use today comes from the Modern Poppies stamp set, and I've done some previous stamp surgery on this happy birthday, cutting it apart. If I have one tip for cutting things apart, it would be to cut with a curved line if you can. It makes it really easy to work out where things line up when you go to put it back together. But for today, I'm going to use the two parts separately, and rather than lining them both up on my stamp platform at the same time, I'm going to stamp each part separately because that way I can line them up just a little closer to each other because I don't have to work around the extra photopolymer at the edges. If I want to be sure that something's going to be straight, I always stamp it off onto some gridded paper first, just to check. And in the case of this word happy, it's a good thing that I did. With the sentiment done, I'm going to add some spatter. And the best way to have exactly the same colour of spatter is to use the same inks. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mix them with a little bit of liquid sparkle, just for a tiny bit of shimmer on the card. And I'm using my hand as the most basic of masks, just to control a little bit where the spatter goes. That's all for today's card. I'm going to leave you with some close-up photos so that you can see the little details, and I look forward to joining you again soon. Feel free to like and to subscribe, and I'll catch you again when our move from Japan to Australia is complete.